This past week's edition of Monday Night Raw took place in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And before I get into this review, for those of you subscribed to me, you saw my previous video about taking a break, and I needed that, even though it turned out to be a lot shorter than I thought it would be. I wasn't planning on being away for as long as I was last time, but I just felt I needed it. I was not in the mood to watch wrestling. Maybe I overreacted a bit, but I couldn't concentrate on wrestling. Too many other things going on with me, and I just didn't feel like reviewing, and I was a little burnt out anyways. I said the product wasn't very good. That was part of it. But you know what? Getting some time off, not doing it for a week, and clearing your head, I just felt like I feel better. And also, it's Netflix, so it's not like I have to search online for the show. I can go watch it on Netflix, and it's much shorter. It's much easier to watch. You can fast forward through things you don't really want to see. That I have to appreciate that for those who don't watch live. But getting just binge watch on Netflix the shows I missed, the Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. I feel like I can start doing reviews again, and I'm back to my normal routine, which is the 3 weeks of show every week, plus predictions if it's a PLE week and the review. Anyway, the Raw show started off with the woman who was most talked about on the show, not for what happened in this opening segment, but what happened to her later in the show with her injury, and that was the one and only Liv Morgan, who was out with her kayfabe boyfriend, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. You had Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary. Hope that stays permanent, even though it's not. Pat was away this week. I don't want Pat back. Pat's done. I'm sick of him. I don't want to hear his voice anymore. I'm appreciating Corey a lot more than I did previously. I really am enjoying his commentary. He was amazing on Worlds Collide when he had to carry Conan, and he was good here. I just wish I could have Corey on commentary every week again. I really am appreciating him. Also wanted to mention congratulations to him. I don't know if I've said this before, but him and his wife, Carmella, we all know her. She's pregnant with their second child together, and I want to wish him congratulations. And I also really appreciate Corey for the positive words that he tweeted about Kevin Castle on the day he passed away. I always appreciate Corey for that. So congrats to him, and I'm happy to have him back. He's doing good on NXT, and again, I wish he can be on Raw with Cole every week. I'd much rather prefer that than bringing Pat back, but I guess that's probably not going to happen. So Liv was cutting a promo on Nikki Bella from what happened last week. Then she calls out the champion Io Sky, who gets a decent pop. Green Bay really liked Io here. They were into her, even though her English isn't very good. Io says that Io said Liv disrespect Nikki and her. I'm thinking, why are you shilling for Nikki? Come on, Io Shirai. She looked up to Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella paved the way for Io Sky. Io Shirai, come on, whatever. And Io shouldn't be cutting a long promo, and that was an issue here. But the fans really like her, so she can get away with it. But I don't think she needs to cut long promos. Fans were booing Dom. It's kind of back to the old ways. And then Io hands Liv the belt, and then she drop kicks her. And they were setting up a program, it seemed, but that didn't turn out well because of what happened later in the show. Stephanie Vaquer makes her entrance, and she's very over. Liv Morgan is backstage talking to Raquel Rodriguez. She wishes her luck, and then Raquel's out. Asuka makes a return, and Ivy Nile was in the ring. So when Asuka made her return, we have the old theme music back. I Am the Future. I got the NXT nostalgia. That's an awesome theme song. I think by CFOs. That song's freaking great. I love it. But I'm glad to see her back. And then we got the Fatal 4-Way Queen of the Ring qualifying match. Stephanie Vaquer versus Ivy Nile versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Asuka, the returning Asuka. The Empress of Chamorro returns. So you had Asuka and Stephanie square off, which got a good reaction. Stephanie hit the Devil's Kiss to Ivy, but then Raquel broke it up. Eventually, Stephanie did a Devil's Kiss to Raquel Rodriguez on the apron, which actually looked really good. Then you had Rhea Ripley pulling out Raquel Rodriguez off of a pinfall, and she gets revenge on her. She hits the Riptide onto Raquel on the floor, taking her out. Then Raquel's back in the ring, and after taking a Riptide, she then gets hit with the hip attack by Asuka. Asuka pins Raquel, and Asuka advances in the Queen of the Ring qualifying match. In the ring, Kathy Kelly was interviewing Asuka after her win, and she says she'll be the Queen of the Ring and nobody is ready for Asuka. She will face Alexa Bliss on SmackDown. Gunther was heading to the ring. You had Judgment Day backstage. Liv is upset with Raquel for some reason. Dom wants to help AJ Styles. He wants help with AJ Styles because he's coming after his belt. And they're dragging out this too long with Finn and Dom. I mean, I've seen this forever. It just feels so like I'm just waiting for it to happen. Maybe it's because they kept teasing Finn would turn on Damian Priest forever last year, and it happened at SummerSlam, but they just dragged it out too long. And it just feels like you're seeing the same story recycled. You had Gunther out next, and he does the same match before he's interrupted by Goldberg, who makes his big return that we all knew was coming. He cuts a promo pretending to congratulate Gunther. Then he brings up bad blood in Atlanta when Gunther embarrassed him in front of his family. He then challenges him to a match in Atlanta. So it comes full circle at Saturday night's main event. And he says Gunther is next. And that's it. That's how the match happened. Really quick. I'm not interested in Goldberg. Don't really want to see him back. He's getting his big retirement. Whatever. Okay. It's a match. It'll get a good rating. I'm sure it will. Saturday night's main event. Also, WWE is going to want to pop the big rating to rub it in AEW's face. That's the same day as their All-In show, so I get it. But I really don't want to see Goldberg back. I'm not going to lie. You had Dom and JD McDonough in the ring. AJ Styles is out, and then you have AJ against McDonough. AJ won the match, and then he takes the belt from Dom and holds it up after Finn and Dom were attacking him. They look on. He holds up the IC belt. So then they're setting up a feud with AJ and Dirty Dom. He had Maxine Dupree, Natalya, Akira Tozawa all motivating Sheamus, and they want him to attack Rusev even though he's not facing him in a singles match. He had Bayley walking backstage heading to the ring, and then Bayley's out next after making her return last week. And she still has that stupid role model song. Part of me was hoping, are we going to get her? Are we going to finally see the hugger make her triumphant return? Of course not. But Bayley mentions Becky and how she was attacked by her at WrestleMania on night one. She mentioned how Becky was always above her, which that's true when they came to the main roster. And especially in 2018 when Becky had that big run as the man, and then she made event of WrestleMania, the WrestleMania 35. So Bayley never had that success. I believe Bayley is the only 4 horsewoman to not main event at WrestleMania. You had Charlotte and Becky Lynch both main event WrestleMania 35. And you had Sasha Banks main event WrestleMania 37 on night one. So Bayley, she's kind of definitely been the least successful of the 4. But she mentions how Becky was always above her, then she calls her out to the ring. And Bayley said it in an interview one time when she was, I think it was with Chris Van Vliet. She never felt she was on the same level of Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. But Becky then comes out, and she's wearing Chicago Bears gear, the woman from Ireland. And I'm thinking, this is just Seth. And Seth's such a geek. I have to say this. Seth Rollins, when he would tweet about football, he always says, I love football. When his loser team, Chicago Bears, win, then he tweets, I hate football when his Chicago Bears lose. I'm thinking, this guy's such a doofus. Such a goofball. Like, what a nerd. That's the kind of kid who gets picked on at school. That's what I think when I hear someone tweet like that. Like, ugh, when he does that. But anyway, it's so cringe. And she's making fun of the Green Bay. If you don't know, Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, a big rivalry. So Becky's wearing Bears gear to piss off Green Bay. And I'm thinking to myself, Becky, the Packers beat the Bears every year. They own the Chicago Bears. They always beat them. But, I mean, Packers fans who are in the attendance shouldn't be too mad. You beat up on the Bears every year anyways. But she's never watched a full game of football, I don't think. She cuts a promo on how Bayley accepts being second fiddle. Becky, I thought, it's just insufferable as she is every week. Bayley corners her. Becky takes a cheap shot. Then Bayley hits her back and drops her, and Becky leaves. So they're setting up an Intercontinental title match, which will happen next week. Kathy Kelly interviews Jey Uso backstage about the Fatal 4-Way match. Kairi Sane is out next, and she took on Liv Morgan, who made her entrance, which was significant because it's the last entrance she would make for a while. So they went backstage, and I think this is actually before Liv came out. I'm not sure if it was actually, but AJ returns the Intercontinental title to Nick Aldis, and then he gets a shot at Night of Champions against Dom. Bayley comes up next, and Aldis makes an Intercontinental title match next week against Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental title, and it's in Columbus next week. Lyra Valkyria walks up, talks to Bayley, and then they tease tension between the two of them. So I'm not sure if Liv made her entrance later or before. I forget exactly the sequence, but Liv's out, and she has a match with Kairi Sane. This lasts about 10 seconds maybe. Liv separates her shoulder. People have seen the clip by now. You don't need me to go over it, but she separated her shoulder. She's out for 6 months. Match was called off quickly. This is a disaster. This sucks for Liv Morgan. This really sucks. I feel really bad for her. You never want to see a wrestler get injured. I'm sure she's devastated. She's going to miss Evolution. She was set up to tag team with Raquel Rodriguez against the Bella Twins. That's obviously not happening now. I guess Roxanne Perez can just take her spot. But yeah, this definitely is a blow to the Judgment Day. And I think I forgot to mention there was a segment earlier in the show where Liv was there, and I don't know if Roxanne. I guess Roxanne and Raquel are a tag team now. They'll just have her take over Liv's spot, but definitely a blow to Liv. She was the best female star of the year in it last year. She was the female superstar of the year. It's unfortunate. So I wish Liv Morgan the best. I'm sure all her fans, her stans on Twitter and all of social media are going to be devastated over this, and I'm sure they are devastated. But she'll eventually be back. When does she come back? Probably by the end of the year, or they could hold it off till the beginning of next year. I don't think you need to have her come back to Royal Rumble. If it was anywhere else, yeah, make her have her triumphant return at the Rumble, but I don't think you need to do it next year. But maybe it sets her up, and maybe when she comes back, she has a lot of momentum, and she has a big run going into 2026. But best wishes to Liv Morgan. Definitely a blow to the women's division. Really unfortunate. Michael Cole and Corey Graves and confirmed that Liv Morgan separated her shoulder in the match with Kairi Sane. And also, I wanted to mention that Kairi, I heard, put out a statement on social media, because I'm sure there was a lot of crazy Liv fans who are really upset with Kairi. Just an accident, guys. The wrestlers, they wrestle all the time. People separate shoulders. It's just an accident. Don't be mad at Kairi. You could be mad at Liv for making a mistake too, maybe. Like that'd be stupid to get mad at either one of them. It's an accident. That's just wrestling. So you had Kathy Kelly backstage interviewing Sami Zayn on facing Randy Orton on SmackDown in the King of the Ring semifinal match. Then you had Karrion Kross mock Sami. He says he'll lose to Randy, and this goes on for too long here. Sami says he's going to face Karrion Kross after he wins King of the Ring. Then you had the Fatal 4-Way match for the quarterfinals. You had Jey Uso against Rusev against Sheamus against Bronson Reed. And you had Braun Breaker interfere, but Sami Zayn attacks him. He fights him off, but Braun then throws Sami, I think, over the announce booth. But Penta takes him out with a dive, who attacks Braun for his interference in the Money in the Bank. LA Knight then shoves Bronson Reed off the top rope when he was going for a tsunami. Jey Uso then hits 2 Uso splashes onto Bronson Reed, gets the win. So Jey Uso goes to the semifinals, unfortunately. And then he had Seth attack Jey after the match, but then Cody comes out. He makes a save. Him and Seth have a stare down. And that's how Raw ended. So that was the show. And, yeah, definitely the worst thing to happen all week with WWE is Liv Morgan's injury. So you really feel bad for her, and hopefully she makes a return. But That's definitely a blow to the women's division. But that was Raw. Felt like I needed that break. I definitely feel like I've recharged my batteries a bit. And we'll see what happens as we continue to see what WWE provides us this summer. And by the way, I think summer is it's officially summer now. So we'll see what wrestling is in the summer this year. Usually it's not very good, I'm not going to lie, but it is. We'll see what we get. And heading into SummerSlam, that's the next big show. But you do also have Evolution, so we'll see what WWE provides. But I'm just going to say that I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be doing reviews again.